Well, guys, it's a Pixar film. What else do I need to really say? It's a Pixar film. Andrew Stanton directs Finding Dory. Andrew Stanton directed the original Finding Nemo in 2003. He directed WALL-E, and he was also a writer on Toy Story and A Bug's Life. He is very, very into the Pixar world, if you know what I'm saying. Finding Dory tells the story of Dory. Dory from Finding Nemo goes on a journey to find her parents. She starts to have these memories of her parents. She remembers that at one point she had parents, she had a family, and she wants to go and find them. It's a spin-off from the original Finding Nemo, as is popular to do in this time of sequels and reboots and rehashes and spin-offs, and that's kind of how I go into these movies, with a spin-off brain, a sequel brain, a reboot brain. I don't go into movies like this expecting them to exceed the predecessor, and if they do, awesome. Ellen DeGeneres returns in Finding Dory to voice Dory again. Albert Brooks returns to voice Nemo's father. There's Hank the seven-legged octopus, voiced by Ed O'Neill. Diane Keaton and Eugene Levy voice Dory's parents. Idris Elba voices a character. Ty Burrell voices a character. Caitlin Olsen voices a character. It's a really strong cast. They delivered some really great performances, as we have come to expect in any of these Pixar films. Overall, I had a fun time with this movie. I would say I enjoyed this film as I expected to enjoy the film. They do a great job of expanding the world. As I mentioned, Ed O'Neill voices Hank the octopus, and because octopi can run across land, it sort of opens up the world a little bit of Finding Nemo. Finding Nemo was contained to the sea. This opens up the world. It adds new characters. I think overall, my takeaway from this is that, much like The Incredible Hulk, stay with me, because I know I relate everything back to superheroes, but stay with me. The Hulk is great as a supporting character, but in all the attempts that Marvel has made to try to make his own movie or make him the focus, it kind of falls a little short. And I think that the character of Dory is a wonderful character. Great voice work by Ellen DeGeneres. It's just a great overall supporting character to Finding Nemo. So when you put Dory in the lead role, I think that there is a little bit left to be desired, because in the first movie she was such a great comedic relief because her shtick was she has a 5-second memory. And that worked time and time and time and time again, until that one moment at the end of the movie where she did remember, and you were rooting for her to remember because she's had this 5-second memory problem throughout the whole film. In this movie, same thing. She has a 5-second memory problem. And that kind of is what ends up driving the plot a little bit, and it kind of becomes semi-monotonous. The plot, a lot of the times, is pushed forward by the fact that she happened to remember something. And then they go investigate over here. And then, oh yeah, she remembers something else, even though she only has a 5-second memory. So her memories are coming back to her, these memories of her parents. That is kind of what steers the movie, and that kind of got repetitive a little bit. The film looked gorgeous. I mean, the CGI in this movie has come so far since 2003. The water, the coral, the sand at the bottom of the ocean, the plants in the ocean. They did a lot of great things with, like, focus, if the water is supposed to look muddy or cloudy or dirty, and the way that light is refracted through the water or across the surface of the water. They do a great job of putting you in the world of the film visually. It's really a great engulfment, if that's a word, if I can coin a word. They engulf you in this world, and everything is taken into very, very careful consideration. I found myself being really, really impressed with the visuals all throughout this movie. I was a little worried that they might be going pro-captivity in this movie. As you know, the original Finding Nemo took place completely in the ocean, among wild fish in the ocean, interacting with one another the way that humans were personifying fish, the way that humans interact, right? But this one, the humans were a big part of the film because it takes place in the aquarium. I was worried that they were going to be a little pro-captivity. I'm here to report that they weren't. It was a good film with a good message and a lot of really heartfelt moments. I would say that if you're a fan of Finding Nemo, you're going to love Finding Dory. Like most Pixar, I can't think of a bad Pixar film. Pixar movies are always so very well executed, from the storytelling, the writing, to the performances, to the images, to the graphics, Everything about a Pixar film is really, really good. They have an insane track record. Go into this expecting to have a good time, and it is a good time. It's great for kids. There's lots of humor in there, great stuff for the adults too. I laughed out loud a few times, as did my beautiful fiance. I would say go support the film. Buy the ticket, go to the movie, experience it, watch it. You're gonna like it. Watch it. So guys, Finding Dory. Did you see the movie? What did you think? Let me know in the comments. And if you like this video and you want to see any more of my ramblings about movies, you can always click right there to subscribe. The 5-second memory of a fish thing, that's a total myth. Because as my fiance found in the New York Times, they did an article about many different studies of many different species of fish testing for their memory. And one in particular, the frillfin, was able to, during high tide, it was able to map out the location of different tide pools. And then during low tide, if it was in a tide pool and there was a predator or something happened, it was able to jump from one tide pool to the other with incredible accuracy because it had already mapped it all out ahead of time, up to 40 days. It can remember things for up to 40 days because fish are very smart and they like to hug and they like to rub fins. They sidle up next to each other and they do that. Fish like getting rubs too.
They like getting rubs.
They like getting little rubbies from people that they trust, of course.
Fish are friends, not food.
Fish are friends, not food. Inserting some veganism into this movie review.
Is it too soon, guys?
To keep the fish out of the home aquarium, to keep them out of captivity, I would say buy the children a stuffed version of Dory and a stuffed version of Nemo.
Because they can hug them.
Because they can hug them.
And they can take them everywhere.
And be friends with them and take them in car rides and be fun.